If you're learning SQL, one of the things that you need to be able to do is filter your data. I'm going to show you in the next 10 minutes how you can filter your data with common where conditions. We'll walk through some examples, and I promise you it's going to feel much easier than you expect. So let's get into it and help improve your SQL game right now. A where clause can filter records using any of the following logical operators. Take a look in the left at the operators that can be used and what they mean on the right. You can use equals, does not equal, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, between, which creates a range bound by two values, like, where you're going to look for a pattern instead of looking for a precise value, and then in, where you can specify multiple values for the server to look for. Here's an example of a query where we're selecting 4 columns from the payment table, but then we're filtering just to those records where the amount is equal to 0.99. Let's go ahead and pop that into Workbench and see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and run the query without the where clause, and then afterwards we'll run it with the where clause. So as you can see here, we've got a whole bunch of data from our payment table. We have the customer ID, the rental ID, various amounts, and the date of which the payment was processed. Now let's add a where clause, and we'll filter where the amount is equal to 99 cents, and we'll go up and run that. What you see here is a very similar data set, but we've stripped out all records where the amount was not equal to 99 cents. Here are some more common examples of where logical operators. You can pull records that happen before or after a certain date, or between 2 dates. You could limit your result set to include only transactions at or above a certain payment amount. You could filter your result set to just records related to certain customers or certain lines of business or any other criteria that you could think of. Here's another example using the payment table. This time, we're only going to be looking at payment dates that are after 2006, January 1st. Let's go over to Workbench and try this query. All right, so first I'm going to run the query without the where condition. And take a look. We have what we've seen before, a whole bunch of data. Take a look specifically at this payment date field. This is what we're going to be using our where condition for. All right, so I'm going to add a where condition. Now we're only going to be looking for records where payment date is greater than January 1st, 2006. Looks like we ran into an error when we added this where clause. Like last time, let's take a look down here at the error response. Before we jump into that, I want to note a couple of things for you. First, we see this red X here next to the query. That means the editor thinks that something is wrong with your syntax. And down here, same thing, we see this one error found. So these can be additional clues that you may have an error in your syntax. Still, for me, the best way to troubleshoot is to go down to this response code where we see error code 1064 again, the same code that we saw last time. Let's jump into troubleshooting mode. Okay, so when we see error code 1064, we know that we have a syntax error. In this case, we've tried to apply a where clause before our from. We talked a little bit before about how the order matters. This is something that happens a lot to new SQL coders. You'll write select some column names where some condition is true from table name. Unfortunately, SQL is very specific about the order in which you need to include your from and your where conditions. So you need to include the where after your from. To debug this like a pro, very similar to last time, we're going to read the error response. In this case, it says line 7. The response is also telling us what it's near, which is from payment. So we're going to look at our query again, and we're going to see if we can figure this out. So we see we have an error on line 7, and it's near from payment. From looking at that error response, we realize that we have our from after our where clause, and SQL doesn't like it. In order to correct it, we'll switch the order. We'll have from, and then we'll have where afterwards. Let's go back and run that. All right, so I'm going to use the same where clause. I'm just going to put it at the bottom. And we'll go ahead and try to run that again. And there we go, no problem. Everything works as intended, and we see our payment dates only happening in 2006 or later. That's our lesson on where. You're going to use this all the time. When you're first getting started, I would print this slide out so that you have all the operators that are available to you. I would also go back and print out the slide on the big 6. That slide lists out the big 6 in order, and it's critical that you get that order right, especially when you're just getting up to speed with SQL. Hey there, I really hope you're enjoying this video. If you do, please like and subscribe. You'll stay in the loop for future data and AI videos, which we drop all the time. Plus, it really helps us grow our channel. So do me that favor, like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Now let's get back to the video. Now you've learned how to filter down your data set using a where clause. But what if instead of applying just one filtering criteria, you wanted to apply multiple criteria at the same time? You're able to include multiple logical conditions within one where clause when you use an AND statement. When you use AND, the server will only return records which satisfy all criteria you list. Here's a pro tip on getting up to speed on this quickly. Write a SQL statement with a where clause. Look at the results. Then add another condition using an AND statement and see how the results change. Do this over and over again with various conditions, and you'll pretty quickly get up to speed on this. Here's an example of a SQL statement that has a where clause with multiple conditions in it. Previously, we've worked with our payment data and filtered it down to records where amount equals 99 cents. We've also used that payment data and filtered it down to records where payment date was greater than January 1st, 2006. In this query, we're applying both of those logical conditions at the same time. Our result will only contain records which match both of those conditions. Let's go ahead and give it a try in Workbench. Here I've written the query with one logical condition in the where clause, where amount equals 99 cents. We'll go ahead and run that query. As you see here, our results set contains a large number of records, all of which have an amount equal to 99 cents. The response tells us that 1,000 rows have been returned. This is an important point to mention. 1,000 records is the default limit for your result grid in Workbench. So when you see a response of 1,000 rows returned, that doesn't mean there were 1,000 matches. That typically means there were more than 1,000 matches, and Workbench is just showing you the first 1,000. That's something you can change, but we don't need to worry about that right now. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my second logical condition using an and I'll go ahead and run that. Looks like we ran into another error. Let's grab that response error code and we'll jump into troubleshooting mode. By now, you might be pretty familiar with error code 1064. It's telling us there is a problem with our syntax. 1064 can be triggered by a lot of things. In this case, which is a very common example, we've forgotten to put a quotation mark after the date. To debug this like a pro, you're going to read the error response and you're going to be looking for two things in particular. You want to find the line that the error is on, and you want to find where the error is near. So we'll go back to our query. We see that the error is on line 9, right here, and we see that it's near the date. What we figure out from that is that we are missing a closing quotation mark after the date. So this is an important thing to note. Anytime we're using dates in SQL, we're going to wrap those in single quotation marks. One quotation mark before, one quotation mark at the end, and that lets SQL know that this is a non-numerical value. This is a date value. Here's how that query should look, and we'll go back into the editor and we'll run that and make sure it all works. So when we add the trailing quotation mark, we see the error X's disappear, and we'll go ahead and run it. And now we're looking good with our result. So the interesting thing here is our results, where previously we were returning at least 1,000 rows, now we're only returning 53 rows. So hopefully this is a good example of what happens when you add additional logical conditions using where and. Our first where clause returned over 1,000 rows, and then we applied another filtering criteria which further limited the data set down to only 53 rows. That's the lesson on using where with and. Like I said, I would recommend just going into Workbench and write yourself a number of queries, experiment with adding additional logical filters, see what happens in your results, and you'll get up to speed on this stuff real quick. Hey, if this video was helpful, hit like and subscribe and catch new data and AI videos every week. It also helps the channel, which we really appreciate. This video, a lot of it came from our MySQL data analysis course. It's a pretty cool course. I'm the instructor. you'll play the role of a business owner who has to get their hands on their data and use SQL for the first time. You'll learn the basic concepts we talked about in this video. You'll learn how to filter, sort, analyze, group data. You'll learn some pro-level concepts like case statements, which are really powerful. And you'll even figure out how tables relate and how you can join data from multiple different data sets. Again, this stuff is so valuable if you know the fundamentals, which you learn in this course. Then you can use AI as a superpower instead of a liability. So if you want to check out the course, I've got a quick video I'll play right now. Hope you like it, and tell me what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts and what you might want to learn next.
In this course, you'll be playing the role of a new business owner who has just acquired a brick and mortar DVD rental business. Using nothing but a relational database, you'll need to learn everything you can about your business, including staff, inventory, and customer behaviors. But don't worry, I'll be right alongside you every step of the way to guide you through. We'll start with a quick introduction to SQL and its various flavors. Then we'll download the tools that we'll need to access the Maven Movies database, and we'll address some key database fundamentals. Once we're up and running, we'll dive right into single table analysis using queries to select, filter, sort, and group our data. From there, we'll shift into more complex use cases, and we'll practice analyzing data across multiple tables using join statements. Now, this course is designed to be hands-on and extremely practical. So you'll be working through assignments and projects to apply what you've learned to real business challenges, and you'll hone your analytical thinking skills in the process.
If you're ready to keep going and add SQL to your toolkit, the full course is available on our site. There's a link in the description. And the best part is the way our site's set up, a lot of the videos, you can just go there and watch them, preview the course. You don't even need a credit card, and you don't even need an account. You don't have to give us an email or anything. They're just totally open there on the website, so you can watch and you can start learning a little bit and decide if the course is right for you. So check out the link in the description, and I hope to see you in the course.